Immediately following the crimson vermilion bird and the giant blue wheel came a massive white seal, an azure jade bracelet, and a crimson bead, all of which were hurtling through the air from different directions. The other three golden immortals of the Dawnfall sect had unleashed attacks of their own, and of course, they were all directed at the white light barrier as well. It was clear that everyone was determined to kill Xiao Jinhan, and this barrage of attacks was significantly more formidable than the one that had been unleashed against the restriction at the entrance of the High Zenith Palace. A string of earth-shattering booms rang out, and the white light barrier warped and trembled violently as the spiritual light on its surface quickly faded. However, for some reason, it had become several times more resilient than before, and it displayed no signs of breaking. Not only that, but countless white runes had appeared over the light barrier, and as these runes began to flash, countless specks of spiritual light converged within the surrounding spirit domain before surging into the light barrier, and spiritual light radiating from it began to quickly recover again. Everyone's expressions changed once again upon seeing this, and Xianxia's brows furrowed slightly as he made a hand seal, upon which the giant gray python sprang forth before wrapping itself several times around the white light barrier. Countless gray runes emerged over its body, and clouds of lit-like gray mist spilled out to envelop the entire white light barrier. Due to the corrosive effects of the gray mist, the recovery of the light barrier wasn't instantly slowed, but the rate of erosion was lagging far behind the rate of recovery, so the detrimental effect was virtually negligible. A hint of urgency appeared in Xianxia's eyes upon seeing this, and he was just about to call upon everyone to attack again when a resounding boom suddenly rang out from the ground below. Immediately thereafter, countless shards of ice were sent flying in all directions as a giant golden beetle that was several hundred feet in size flew out. Xianxia faltered slightly at the sight of the golden beetle, which spread open its legs to grab onto the white light barrier before hacking viciously at it with its sharp claws. The giant gray python was instantly sliced into several pieces by the gray beetle, and its body disintegrated into a vast cloud of gray mist amid an anguished wail. Xianxia was astonished to see this. Even though the gray python had been formed by gray mist, it was interspersed with his law threads, so it possessed just as much structural integrity as the average immortal treasure. Yet the golden beetle had managed to tear it apart with ease. Everyone else was also completely rooted to the spot, and they had no idea whether this golden beetle was friend or foe. But Feng Qiandu's eyes lit up slightly as he caught sight of the golden beetle, while still locked in battle against the white domain spirit. The golden beetle paid no heed to any of the golden immortals present as it opened its mouth up wide, and a pair of scythe-like sharp teeth sprang out of its mouth. These two teeth were different from its other golden teeth in that their coloration was far lighter, and they were also slightly translucent. The golden beetle chomped down onto the white light barrier with ferocious might, and its two sharp fangs were able to tear a pair of long gashes into the light barrier with ease, even though it had managed to withstand such a ferocious barrage of attacks from the other golden immortals. Immediately thereafter, the white light barrier exploded with a dull thump to reveal the 5 stone pillars inside. The stone pillars were riddled with countless complex white patterns that extended all the way down onto the ground, where they intertwined to form an extremely complex white array. At this moment, Xiao Jinhan was seated at the center of the array, and he was just as flabbergasted as everyone else. "How dare you use your ice to freeze me?" The golden beetle yelled in the voice of a little girl, then pounced directly at Xiao Jinhan as a ball of golden light. "Is this a gold-devouring immortal? But that's impossible." A perplexed look flashed through Xiao Jinhan's eyes, and he remained seated as he made a hand seal. The white array around him instantly began to glow brightly as a thick streak of white light emerged, then instantly transformed into a sharp sword that shot forth like lightning to strike the ball of golden light. A loud clang rang out as the ball of golden light was sent flying, and it faded to reveal the golden beetle tumbling end over end through the air. However, After the golden beetle steadied itself, it was revealed that only a faint white mark had appeared on its golden shell. In the next instant, the golden beetle began to rapidly shrink, reducing itself to only the size of a millstone, following which it pounced at Xiao Jinhan once again, this time reaching around twice the speed as during its previous attack. However, as soon as it drew close to the stone pillars, the array on the ground lit up once again, and another streak of sword light shot forth to strike it with unerring accuracy, sending it flying back through the air once again. The golden beetle was becoming even more enraged, and it was just about to fly forward once again when it suddenly stopped in its tracks and took a glance in a certain direction, following which it abruptly vanished from the spot. Xiao Jinhan was rather taken aback to see this, and before he could do anything else, Xianxia and the others descended out of the sky to surround him and the 5 stone pillars. Everyone took a collective glance at the spot where the golden beetle had been just a moment ago, and a hint of bewilderment flashed through their eyes, but they quickly turned their attention back to Xiao Jinhan. "It looks like even the heavens are on our side. You should surrender and accept your fate, Palace Master Xiao," Xianxia declared as he made a hand seal, and his gray jade scepter instantly began to glow radiantly while releasing a cloud of dense gray mist. A giant gray dragon took shape around the gray scepter, and it pounced at Xiao Jinhan with almighty power. All of the other golden immortals were also attacking Xiao Jinhan from all directions with their immortal treasures, and in response, Xiao Jinhan began to chant an incantation while flicking his fingers through the air in rapid succession, sending a string of incantation seals flying into the 5 stone pillars around him. The attacks unleashed by Xianxia and the others had only just drawn close to the stone pillars when the white array on the ground began to revolve rapidly, and around a dozen thick beams of white light shot out of the array in all directions. A string of resounding booms rang out as all of the oncoming attacks were sent flying or kept at bay, and not even a single one of them was able to slip through the cracks, much to the dismay of the surrounding golden immortals. Having observed the white array in action from above, the golden immortals had thought that Xiao Jinhan was actively controlling the array to ward off the golden beetle. But it seemed that this wasn't actually the case. Instead, the array possessed the ability to sense attacks and react accordingly. Right at this moment, the light emanating from the array suddenly began to fluctuate erratically in brightness, while the patterns on the 5 stone pillars were rapidly becoming brighter. Radiant white light erupted out of the 5 stone pillars, then converged to form a thick pillar of white light that shot forth straight up toward the heavens. The entire white spirit domain shuddered as countless specks of spiritual light converged from all directions, while the pillar of white light grew brighter and brighter. 7 or 8 balls of white light appeared within the pillar of white light in a flash, and they began to rapidly expand. Feng Qiandu's expression changed slightly upon seeing this, and he hurriedly yelled, "Stop him! He's about to conjure up another domain spirit. You have to destroy these stone pillars before that." While it was true that he could hold his own against this formidable domain spirit, he wasn't going to be able to completely destroy it anytime soon. And if even more domain spirits were to be conjured up, then everyone would be well and truly in a dire situation. Upon hearing Feng Qiandu's urgent call, Xianxia and the others hurriedly summoned a wide array of immortal treasures and high-grade talismans to attack the 5 stone pillars, but Xiao Jinhan merely made a hand seal with a derisive sneer on his face. The white array flashed momentarily before releasing several dozen more beams of white light to keep all of the oncoming attacks at bay once again. An urgent look appeared in Xianxia's eyes as he opened his mouth to expel a ball of blood essence, which vanished into his gray jade scepter. The scepter immediately began to glow brightly, and the serpentine head on its tip detached itself from the rest of the scepter and flew out to transform into a giant gray serpentine head. The serpentine head opened its cavernous mouth to devour the white light standing in its path, and with the obstacle eliminated, the jade scepter was able to fly forward as a streak of gray light, appearing in front of one of the stone pillars in a flash. In the blink of an eye, the jade scepter transformed into a giant gray blade, the edge of which was etched with countless gray runes. The blade was giving off a burst of intensely corrosive law power as it struck the white stone pillar with tremendous force, and a hint of surprise flashed through Xiao Jinhan's eyes upon seeing this, but he made no attempt to stop the attack. The gray blade exploded violently like a wave, crashing against the rocks, and the jade scepter reemerged. But the spiritual light on its surface had dimmed significantly, and it was sent flying back through the air. As for the stone pillar, it merely swayed slightly before immediately stabilizing itself again. "Impossible!" Xianxia exclaimed. This didn't seem like a very remarkable transformation from the jade scepter, but it was actually its most powerful attacking form, yet it hadn't even managed to leave a mark on the stone pillar. The stone pillars were extraordinarily resilient, and it was no wonder that Xiao Jinhan wasn't concerned about them at all. At the same time, a resounding boom rang out from the other side. As it turned out, a thin streak of golden light that resembled a blade had erupted out of the elderly woman's golden cane, and it had somehow managed to bypass the white array to strike another one of the stone pillars. However, just like before, this pillar also only swayed slightly before steadying itself again, and it remained completely unscathed. The elderly woman and Xianxia exchanged a glance upon seeing this, and both of them could see their own astonishment mirrored in each other's eyes. A cold sneer appeared on Xiao Jinhan's face as he continued to make hand seals, and the light radiating from the white array grew brighter and brighter, while streaks of white light converged from all parts of the spirit domain before surging into the balls of light within the pillar of white light. Limbs and heads began to sprout out of the balls of light, and an ecstatic look appeared on Xiao Jinhan's face upon seeing this, as he began to make hand seals with even greater urgency. Right at this moment, things took a completely unexpected turn.